You could say she was a sex fiend. I met her in a hotel lobby, masturbating with a magazine. She said, "How'd you like to waste some time?" And I could not resist when I saw little Nicky grind. The castle started spinning, or maybe it was my brain. I can't tell you what she did to me, but my body will never be the same. Oh, hey, Red, and Cesaro's in. Looks like this is just getting completely out of hand. Looks like YouTube can't be bothered. Susan couldn't be bothered with notifications again. Brian, Darkiplier, Thunking User, Caden, John Han, Anakin Skywalker, Trevor, Thomas, Peter's back in. Okay, now, all right, I take it back. Looks like some notifications went out. Jesse's here, Mark the Shark, Shadow Dragon, Wolverine, EA, please make your game better and give us content. um, I gotta think of a new. I always sit here singing as I'm setting up. That's how it became a thing that I was singing while the streams start. I was gonna say I gotta come up with a new song, but "Darling Nikki" is a classic. I mean, talking about slutty activities and stuff. How can you really defeat that? Well, thanks, Dylan. I appreciate that. One Piece Buff says my childhood dream was to rule the world. Nothing wrong with that. You can still pursue that. Hey, do the right things. I'll fall into line. You got a notification, Joe? Oh, at first I had my doubts again because the other day was just abysmal. But it looks like they actually sent some out this time. Sent some out this time. Hi, Morgan. You do get notifications now, by love? It's weird. It seems like it goes in streaks. Because I've had others tell me that for a while they'll get them on pretty much every stream, and then all of a sudden Susan just goes beep, and then that's that's the end of them for a while. Oh, it's on your sub feed. Yeah, a lot of people come in that way too, Lachlan, or just see it in a sidebar or something. Just had a full. Oh, I'm sorry, I went by too fast, Chrome. Had a full barbecue. Nice. I had for lunch. I had Wendy's, and because I'm trying to be at least semi good about my eating, instead of having the delicious burger that I wanted, I had grilled chicken sandwich. My childhood dream was to be an actor. Moonshine Girl says, still trying to do that. That's cool. That's cool. I like hearing what people aspired to and are still aspiring to. You should never give up on your dreams. And you guys know me. I am far from a rah rah sis boom baya type of guy. That's just fact. That's a big part of the fun in life is having dreams and ambitions and goals, no matter how difficult or reasonable they may be. I mean, it's that's the best. For me as a kid, it was all about sports. It was initially I wanted to be a professional baseball player, and then as the years went by, it was also the professional wrestling thing, which the wrestling, fortunately, I got to do. Never played baseball for money. It was one of those things where I grew up out in a very rural area, and for my area, I was a really really good baseball player. Then as I got older, and I moved into the Bay Area in California, and we played teams from Oakland and those regions there. It's like I don't just dominate at will anymore. Could I have ever achieved that level? I don't know. Maybe I'm over romanticizing and thinking that I could, because some of those guys were really, really good. Stormstar says, depends on what stage of childhood. My earliest one was to be a train driver, a conductor. Cool. Yes, Curtis, after all this time was me driving all those trains. That's right. If you had lived out your earliest childhood dreams, you and I would be at odds right now. Wildfire Entertainment said I had a fucking cup of noodles. I like cup of noodles though. Every once in a while, I'll go down and I always keep those little ramen packets. I always keep some of them in the cupboard. Just the other day, I got in the, and actually saying it now, it sounds good. I get in the mood for those every once in a while. I like those. And my childhood dream was to be a soldier and a songwriter. That's cool. Hey, listen, there's some great songs have been written on battlefields or in and around battlefields. An artist, Philip? Another noble. And the cool thing about things like that, like having artist as your childhood dream, is it something you can chase forever? Yarbrough too dreamt of being an artist. I'm an author instead, so it's close. Well, that's cool because you guys know I always had an interest in writing. That's why I took journalism. Then I found out that journalism sucked. No, it's not anything wrong with the field itself. It sucked for me because again, when you're young, I go into something like that. I think I'm going to become a reporter and become the next Woodward and or Bernstein, and you realize, as did I, when you actually get a job at a local newspaper, you spend all your time covering planning and zoning commission meetings and rewriting the obituaries for the funeral homes and stuff. And it's like my brain is trying to crawl out of my ear. This job is so goddamn boring. So, needless to say, I wasted. Well, I shouldn't say I wasted my time because I still use the writing skills in different venues. And before I started the YouTube channel, I used to make money online writing research and SEO articles. So I can't say I wasted it. P2 said, wanted to be a pilot. Now I just want to survive. Well, 2020 has done that to a lot of us, pal. Ever since 2020 came around, a lot of us are on that just trying to fucking survive train now. Hey, Loki, good to see you. My childhood dream was to work at the zoo. That's cool. I was just completely mesmerized as a kid by animals. That's really cool. Now my dream is to be a screenwriter. That was Loki. That was my first foray into entertainment, was trying to break in as a screenwriter. I had a couple of things optioned many years ago, but none of them ever went all the way to production. And then of course, my movie that I made myself, I wrote myself. So for whatever that's worth. But as far as sales, I just did a couple options, but they never got produced. Yeah, but that was my first entertainment interest. Loki was screenwriting. Was in conjunction with why I went to journalism school, and then I realized writing fiction is completely different than journalistic work, and then I didn't want to. Milog says, even as a child, I wanted to be a psychologist, either one that studies animals or profiles criminals, but I hate people and being eaten alive, so I'm doing neither. Well, you know, Milog, I have a very distinct interest in psychology, but that came around much later for me. I was already an adult as that really started to capture my imagination. Especially, that really took off with learning the hypnosis and everything. That's when that really started going for me. Oh, there's a lot wrong with journalism, yeah, unfortunately, Joe. And a lot of people that are supposed to be journalists are corrupting the profession as well. To me, it always came back to something like when journalism is your goal or something you're interested in it, as I was, the New York Times was like, no, next level. And that's why I hate them so much now, because they allowed themselves to get pulled into puerile war with the president, and in that battle were perfectly willing to throw away any journalistic integrity they had. Because I have heard of a grand total of one newspaper in my entire life that would post an opinion piece and allow it to be anonymous, and that was the New York Times. And it was all because they thought they were going to get Trump with something, and it fell flat. And that just, I couldn't even tell you how much that disheartened me. And as far as I'm concerned, New York Times is dead to me. Fuck them. Andrew Wilson says, my dream is to become Hokage. Believe it. Hold on to that dream, Andrew. Although, from what I hear of the Boruto series, once you achieve that dream, you just sit behind the desk and do a lot of paperwork and shit, it sounds like. Well, thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Journalism is just pushing a propaganda now. Unfortunately, Ocho. And you know what's sad about that, too, guys? For the most part, my experiences, it's sad that local journalists now get swept into the cesspool that is the mainstream media, because a lot of local journalists are still working it, trying to do the right things, and tell the stories. I gotta say, the local news channels we have here, most of them they're all out of Albany, our local ones. They're fair. They're trying to do, and you can see here or there where they might have, an individual might have a slight lean. That's understandable. We're humans. But they try and be fair. But unfortunately, the shit rolls downhill. And when you have CNN and CNBC and NBC, for that matter, throwing out news stories and articles that are clearly slanted or intentionally leave out information, it shits all over the locals who are actually trying to do a good job. Arthur says, I wanted to be a game developer, and now I want to trade stock. Oh, you got to have balls of steel to be a stock trader, Arthur. Because, man, you can make a fortune and lose a fortune in just a matter of hours. Listen, I got nothing but respect for people who go into something like that. Because, again, you got to have the balls. Chrome says, my childhood dreams have always been art related. Well, it's understandable with the things we see that you can do, Chrome. Still working towards my goal of being a professional 3D artist. For those of you who don't know, Chrome does pretty much all the artwork around here or at the Goose you see. Chrome has done for us. Even the intro to the YouTube videos, not the intro to the Goose videos. Chrome. I don't want to relate you to the Goose man at all. She had nothing to do with that. Burrito Bandito says, my dream is to start an OnlyFans account and make videos of me jerking off into ice cream cartons at Walmart. Live your dreams. No, wait, I can't officially encourage that. Don't live that dream. Arthur says, I'm already a stock trader, but I want to do it professionally. No, that's, like I say, that's awesome. I have a lot of respect for that because, again, you got to have the big balls to do it because, it's a very volatile profession where, again, mass fortunes can be made and lost. Just boom, boom, boom. It's basically the same as being a professional gambler. Now, I got huge respect for pretty much anything somebody wants to do. I respect if somebody is working, if somebody is just out there grinding, I don't give a shit what it is. I got respect for it. That's, if you're out there doing the best you can for yourself and your family and whatever that case may be, I got huge respect. Morgan says, this may sound sad, but my childhood dream was my mom's dream for me, which was to become a doctor. She drilled in my head so much I didn't have my own dream till I got older. It is, yeah, that is sad, Morgan. It's, just because, and I think parents are well-intentioned. I think you'd probably even agree with me, no? Well-intentioned when they do things like that. But they don't realize they're not helping. It was just like me. I'm a sports fanatic. And I never tried to push that on my kids. Brax will watch sports here or there, but he doesn't really have an interest. And I never tried to push it on him. It's like, I want him to find out what he enjoys. It's unfortunate that some parents don't see that. And I do think that most times when they do things like that, they do have your best interest at heart, but it's just, it's not a good direction. Gimster says, I saw a meme on Twitter. When you make it through the month in 2020 and you hear a voice saying, congratulations, you made it past the tutorial. Jesus Christ. Yeah, and if this is the tutorial, we are in so much trouble. That's a good one, though. I like that. Lute says, I wanted to be a duck. I'm halfway there. I can quack and I can sex people without consent. Now I just need to master the way of being a mean motherfucker. And he's right. We had talked about that before, about how the vast majority, the zoologists and stuff will tell you this, the vast majority of duck sex is rape. They're a bunch of sick fuckers. And then it was shortly after I either read or saw a video about that we saw it taking place. I think Brax was with me. I don't remember, where the hell were we? But anyway, there was a big, it must have been up at one of the local lakes that we go to in the summertime, but there's a big group of ducks over on the one side. Then we're watching, and sure enough, all of a sudden one grabs the other, grabs it right by the neck, and just started putting that corkscrew dick to it. We're like, God damn, they weren't lying. Member Barry says, I got notified, so thank you, Susan, but damn, my teachers to help for piling last-minute schoolwork up my ass and out of my mouth. I'll exact my revenge with my anime powers when I graduate. Oh, yeah. I think all of us as anime fans, we all have that list of people that are going to pay when we eventually get our anime abilities. I think you have to. Hey, Loki, thank you for the magenta sky. Look at that. Right on. God damn. I know the word magenta. Is it sad to be that proud of myself for being able to remember one word? Loki says, what's happened in journalism is also an example of how the decline in familial moral values impacts society on all levels. What you practice at home is what you use in the real world, and it's sad that integrity and honor are viewed as corny now. Could not agree with that more. And I'm not, for an old guy, I'm not generally an old school down home values type. In other words, in the respect that, put it this way, when I grew up, if you were just expected to stay away from gay people or people that had this thought process in life or that thought process in life, and it was accepted. So that's why I think I have kind of a bad relationship with that concept, that down home stuff. The other side of the coin, though, is I agree with Loki completely. Integrity and honor were much more vital when we were young. Your honor in doing the right thing was very, very important, and it seems much more so than it is now, and that's sad. And especially the respect thing. Respect was just something that even if you didn't give it automatically, you were always taught to be aware of the fact that you should be respectful unless someone gives you a reason not to. Arthur says, by the way, my Japanese study is going well. I can already read hiragana and katakana. That's fantastic. I wish that's something. If I had lots of free time, I would love to try and do. And if I learned a language now, it'd be Japanese. With becoming an anime nerd. Rose Sky Gimster says, adding fuel to the fire. Yeah, that's cool, Arthur. I think that's badass. I wish I could learn Japanese. That would be cool as shit. I would go to when it opens back up. Go down to the Japan section of Epcot and going like a badass, talking to all the attractive Japanese women working there. They'd be so swept off their feet. Cheyenne says, my biggest dreams as a child were to be a scientist, a cop, and a coroner. I'm kind of doing all three by being a war crimes archaeologist. There you go. Yeah, right. Now that's a quality job, Cheyenne, of combining several goals. I like that. Joe says, yeah, as soon as I hear lost family values, my homophobia sense is tingling. That's the things I don't like about the way things were. Particularly, Joe, you guys have to understand, I grew up in very rural surroundings, very, very white surroundings, and there were certain things that were just accepted, that were accepted that you didn't accept. It was accepted that you didn't accept gay people because they were living against the Lord's law and it's unnatural and all this shit. And it was kind of accepted where I grew up that black people were not to be trusted and this, that, and the other. So I don't have a lot of warm, fuzzy memories about childhood as far as that stuff goes. Again, the only redeeming value was that respect was taught. And perversely enough, like for instance, say you had a black or a gay teacher in school. Even though on one side of the coin, you heard all the jokes and the nasty comments made because of that person's race or sexual orientation, then the other side of the coin, they would tell you, you need to be respectful though because it's your teacher. So you had that good thing, which was teaching you respect, but it flew right in the face of how you're trying to teach people to be to other human beings. So that's why I don't look back on my days of youth as far as the society back then with any type of warmth. Just heard the Hornet thing was nothing but hype. I'm hearing that too, P2. It's funny you said that. I didn't read into it. It was just a meme or something. It wasn't a whole article. But somebody had posted something saying that those Hornets have actually been, I don't know if it's true or not. Again, I'm just relating to you what I saw in a picture with text. But that somebody was holding a bunch of them in their hands and said, listen, these bees have been around, or these Hornets have been around for a while, and they're not what everybody's making them out to be. I haven't read up on it, so, just take that with a grain of salt. But I heard that same thing. Arthur, oh, he's talking to Joe. Some of the family values were really stupid, yeah. But most of them were based on ages confirmed practices that made for healthier families and better lives for children. Um, I don't know if I'd go most, Arthur. I would say some. I mean, for me, just my own personal experience, being somebody from back in that era, there were, there were some things again that were taught to you that were quality and would help you become a decent human being as you got older. But then there were some that were just the opposite because, well, and to be honest with you, the things that were negative were taught to you because the people back then were stupid. That's all there's to it. And that includes, listen, I'll throw in my father, some other family members as well. They were hillbilly morons as far as I'm concerned about stuff like that. I don't know if you're supposed to sugarcoat that because you're related to them, but that's not my thing. That's how I saw it. John Rivera says, my childhood dream is me and Squidward in a pineapple submarine with hundreds of scrats from Ice Age in the back. We crash landed on an island, so all the scrats escaped, so Squidward killed them brutally. Jesus Christ, the poor scrats! What the hell? I like Scrat. Morgan says, my grandpa moved from a rural area to a huge city of immigrants and used to mock people speaking other languages. I once asked him, why'd you move to such a diverse area if you're like that? Yeah, really, Morgan. And you know what I found out as I got older, once I got older and had opportunities to live with and so amongst and socialize with gay people and black people and everything, it's like, oh, yeah, all that shit they told me was stupid because within every group there's people I like and dislike, but it has absolutely nothing to do with anything other than their personalities. And that's when I really started turning more of a irritated eye towards the things that I was taught growing up. Ria, childhood dream says meteorologist. That's something else too. I got interested in much later in life is weather and weather patterns and stuff, and that was because, believe it or not, related to the Disney thing, because we'd be going to Disney World, and a lot of times, especially with the school schedules and stuff, we would go when it was hurricane season down there. Well, it seemed like every time we'd have a trip planned, that there would be the threat of a hurricane coming into Florida. So I would be watching the weather, and that got me really interested in it. Just learning more about how they go about predicting the weather and actually learning more about how weather works in and of itself was fascinating to me. So I really started nerding out. I have all kinds of weather apps in my phone now and everything just because it was fascinating to me. Idi Amin Dada says, dear Curtis, my dream is to give Daddy Curtis his life-size living Nico Robin. I know, you're supposed to be working on it. Okay, I still haven't achieved it, he said, due to Papa Jonathan's and Netflix South Sudan. Fuck you, Papa Jonathan's and Netflix South Sudan. Understandable, though, Idi Amin. It's easy to get lost in all those different entertainment offerings. It's Dan says, I used to be an academy player in football/soccer, but after a horrific bone crush, I was never the same again. Oh, that's too bad. That sucks. There's nothing worse than having a passion for sports and having it derailed by injury. That sucks big time. You work at Papa John's, Ria? Do you? Do you know, guys? Well, we don't have any around. I've never had Papa John's pizza. Well, real no, but what do you guys think? You guys know what a pizza freak I am. Is it any good? You guys like it? We don't have any Papa John's around us. Or if we do, I haven't, well, not in our immediate area. I don't know if the Tri-Cities area, Albany, Schenectady, Troy, I don't know if there's any down there or not. I know the area pretty well. If there are, I don't know where they are. Very mediocre, Moose says. John likes it though. I gotta try some. I just like trying different pizzas because I'm a fat guy and I like pizza. Tastes like cardboard, Wolverine says. I haven't had it in years. I did like it, though, Loki said. Papa John's is good. He says not as good as Pizza Hut, though. See, Pizza Hut, Papa John's is better than some pizza I've had. Hungry Howie's is disgusting. I never heard of that one, Morgan. Hungry Howie's? New York has the best pizza. Well, see, Sweet Beast, of course, I told you guys I used to spend most every weekend in New York City when I was working for the bus company, the tour bus company, and I would agree with you. The pizza is just phenomenal. And for the longest time, my absolute favorite pizza in the world was in New York City. Rose's Pizza in New York is just ridiculous. It's moved to second now, but that's because of that the Italy section in Epcot, and that pizza place in there is just get out of here. That I can't even. I mean that is just orgasm food for me. That place. So if you see me in there at any point at that pizza place in Italy, feel free to come up and say hi and everything. But do understand, if I got my pizza, I do have a boner. Just as a forewarning. It's a good thing they're going to be doing social distancing. You never know who I might accidentally poke. Accidentally. Chrome says, you joke about it, Curtis, but I probably could do a 3D animation of you as Gooshman with Kabuto or Shao Tucker, but something that complicated would cost cash money. Yeah, that would be wildly complicated. I have no doubts, Chrome, of the things that you would be able to accomplish. I've told you before, I think because I have absolute zero artistic ability is why I'm so fascinated by it and so awed by people who do have that ability. There's a few in London. Jack Queen says, "See, I've never had it. And it was mixed. The reviews on Papa John's here, and that's in it. In talking to other people in day-to-day life, it's always been mixed too. Some will tell you, oh, it's great. Others will tell you, nah. On a real note, Burrito Bandito says, my childhood dream has always been to be a rapper. When I was in kindergarten, I made a rap version of the ABCs, and the teacher made me perform it. That's cool. That's cool. Pizza. Joe says pizza and boner? Oh, Joe, that pizza's it's fucking stupid. It's what it is. I just can't encourage you guys enough. I so wish, well, now, of course, everything's on hold like this. But when we get talking about these things, it so desperately makes me want to be able to have a big meetup somewhere. And I did tell you guys, didn't I, that ridiculousness, the legislation on everything. We had always talked about over at the Goosh that if we achieved a certain level, a certain level of growth and hit a certain monetary milestone, we would have a drawing for somebody to go to Disney World with Spaz Kid and I. We obviously the Goosh would pay for them to go, and we would do videos there and everything. So I looked into it. It's like, who knows? Maybe someday we could actually hit those big numbers. So I looked into it. Holy shit. I don't think I've ever seen anything legislated as hard as our contests of any, okay, if I've given away a t-shirt or something, nobody cares. But of a contest of certain value, which, of course, something like that would equal that value, you guys would not believe the rules and parameters. Now, like, just to include all of America, certain states require you to have an escrow account with them before you can start the contest. Certain countries won't allow it to happen at all, like Canada. And, of course, we have an international audience, so it immediately got shot down. So if we ever did have a meetup someplace, whether it was Orlando or New York City or Vegas or something like that, I'd have to try and figure a way to set up some funds to try and help some people get there, but I can't do it anything like a contest at all. Or, I mean, it's like big fines and penalties and Jesus Christ. To me, it should be, if you can prove that your contest was in no way rigged and it was a fair opportunity for everyone, that should be the only regulation, but we can't do things like that. Too easy. Yarbrough says, my favorite pizza is Detello's deep dish barbecue chicken. Oh, see, I'm not a fan of barbecue chicken. I'll eat deep dish pizza, but I don't like it as much as the New York style. I will not eat Chicago style with that. No, too much sauce. No. Oh, it's your birthday, Ree. Happy birthday. Oh, very good. Would that be a contest? What do you mean, Zombie Dude? I'm lost. Well, I don't know. That's what I mean. As far as like if I had a funds put aside to try and help people get there, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I'll tell you the penalties are like ridiculous as well. And the thing is, I do have a method, and I'll figure it out, a very fair method that I could do live on camera, so you guys would know there was no hanky panky in picking a winner. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you can prove. You have to be able to prove it's fair. But beyond that is all the other stuff on top of it. It's absolutely ridiculous. I wanted to be a photographer, Lick says, as a kid. Now I'm a hooker. So not far off. You see, he ended up in basically the same place. Jesus Christ. You guys are funny. Loki says it's hard to compare pizza chains because the quality of their ingredients varies widely. For example, Domino's has better sausage than Little Caesars, but not better pepperoni. I say just try Papa John's. Yeah, when I get a chance, I will. Whenever I can find one, the next time I'm doing any traveling and find a Papa John's, I'm going to stop and eat just so I can report back, tell you guys what I think. I agree with you too, and I'm a fanatic for sausage pizza. I love good I love a good sausage. Pepperoni I like not as much, but pepperoni bothers my old guts more than does sausage or something. But Domino's I used to really like many years ago. It was my favorite, one of my favorite go-to places. But then when they switched their sauce ingredients, I've had it maybe twice since then, and that was well over 20 years ago. I just didn't like what they did to the sauce at all. I used to love Domino's. Hell, I even still remember to this day, with my bad memory, I still remember the number to the local Domino's, the phone number, because I used to call it so much. And it's been well over 20 years they changed that recipe, and I haven't been eating it. What did I... An anarchist? What did I do to give you the impression that I'm an anarchist, Brian? I'm not denying it. I don't remember what I said that gave you that impression. Patrick says, "Hey Curtis, long time. My childhood dream was to be a pro wrestler." There you go. My inspiration was Hawk from the Road Warriors. Yeah, it's tragic what happened to him. He just could not get his life in order. It's really too bad. I never got to meet him, but I got to wrestle Animal. I told you guys about that before. The hardest clothesline I ever took in my life. He got jacked up and he blanked me out for a second. He hit me so hard with the clothesline. And in all fairness, he did it perfectly safe. He he came right across my chest. He didn't put it up on my neck or chin or anything. He's just so goddamn big. And I took contact when I wrestled. I like high contact wrestling, so I didn't fall away from the clothesline. I would let it hit me, and then I would take the bump. And letting it hit you and then taking the bump with most guys is cool. When it's Animal from the Road Warriors, it's time you take a little nap because your head snaps so fast. But yeah, I never got to meet Hawk. Oink says, "My childhood dream was to be the dictator of a country. Now I understand that a single country isn't enough. But seriously, dictator was my childhood dream. Nothing wrong with that. Dream big." Chrome says, "Oh, Domino's is for when you give up on life." At least here in Scotland. And Pizza Hut is cardboard pretending to be food. You have to be a real neckbeard to enjoy it. Spaz Kid loves it. I'll eat it. And mainly if we get Pizza Hut, it is because Spaz Kid likes it. So we'll order it every so often. It's okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. But it's nothing that I would ever put on any list of something I need to have here or there. Good sausage doesn't bother your guts? Nah, not as much as pepperoni, Nolan. I don't know why. Wow, just being old, because that's an old man thing, because pepperoni never used to do that. But just certain foods now. Even now, once in a while, and not every time, Kentucky Fried Chicken will bother me. So, oh yeah, Shirokage. Sausage pizzas are the best, but I can't recommend that enough. I've told you guys before, if you ever get to Disney World, whenever we can do these things again, go in Epcot, go to the Italy section. It's like all the countries are like hallways almost. There's buildings on both sides, and you walk off to the left, and you go into the country. So when you walk into Italy, just go straight to the back, all the way to the back, and go to that pizza joint. Whoa, God damn, it's so good. Uh, Jeez. Yeah, it's wiggling. I'm not afraid to tell you guys. It's wiggling. Isn't not that interesting because it's little, but it's wiggling about the pizza. You got to go, Ree? Well, good. I hope you enjoy your birthday. Thanks for being in while you could. Enjoy the. You guys should all be enjoying your birthdays, and given that pretty much I think everybody here is younger than me, enjoy those young ones while you can. Brian says unpopular. Russo was the best writer WWE ever had. Russo wasn't a terrible writer. He's an asshole, but he wrote some some quality angles, some quality storylines. He also wrote some shit too, but that's true with any writer. I mean, in fairness, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't hate on Russo for his writing. If I would hate on Russo, it's because he's a dick. Idi Amin says, Curtis, when you go to Papa Jonathan's, tell them to stop attacking our research plant, or we'll be adding 2 more balls to the McPlay play pit. It's fun having Idi Amin in here. Ocho says favorite fast food is Wendy's. We just had that. I think I told you guys that. I can't keep track. We just had that for lunch. Because I was out. We're painting my wife's in my bedroom, and I was getting the supplies, and I told Brax I'd pick up whatever he wanted on the way home, and he said Wendy's. And like I said, I'm trying to eat a little better because I'm just getting too old to carry around this much weight. And so instead of having a delicious burger, I had a goddamn grilled chicken sandwich. But our favorite fast food is it's about the worst one you could have as a favorite is Arby's. I don't know if that's real roast beef or it's just some sort of in a lab somewhere created meat like substance, but I don't care. It's delicious. High Rise says best pizza I ever had was surprisingly a vegetarian pizza, but the same thing from the same place has never been as good. Don't you hate that though? When you get, I've had that happen at restaurants too. You'll get a meal from a restaurant and it's like, whoa, it's one of the best things ever, and you can't wait to have it again, and then they never match it. It happened to me at a local restaurant, but it was with a chicken and biscuits meal. The first time I had it, it was like, this is some of the best chicken and biscuits I've ever had in my life. It was just absolutely delicious. Had it several times since, and while it was good, it was like, meh. Glenn says, check next post. Excuse me, choking here. Okay, I'm looking for you, Glenn. I don't want to. Oh, there you are. I like Papa John's myself. You can't taste racism. Racism wasn't allowed in Super Chat. Fuck you, Susan. You know what? Jesus Christ. They go out of their way to try and keep kids out of YouTube, which is a smart idea, which they, couldn't figure out until they got fined. But then now that you get the kids out of YouTube, you treat all of us like we are children and we can't see a word like racism or something. Fucking idiots. Jesus Christ. Why do I say he's a jerk, Brian? Because I've known too many people who I know, trust, and know not to be bullshitters and have told me stories about the type of person he is. Enough that I feel confident in saying he's an asshole. Because these are friends of mine whose stories I trust, and I got the same stories from different people at different times, and he's a douchebag. Just the way he presents himself, the way he goes about business, and when he's the booker, the way he handles bookings, he's not somebody I like. Arthur says that 4-minute clip I wanted is related to Wendy's. I can't. I told you guys before that when my adopted son, when he was still living with us, when we went up to, because he sits in a wheelchair, when we went up to Wendy's in Saratoga that one year after going to the track, I'm pretty sure they were calling the cops on us because I kept punching the wooden Dave Thomas they had in there. Racism too, Big Green. Again, yeah, you wouldn't want us to be able to have an adult conversation that might involve adult topics. God. Also, Domino's is better than Pizza Hut. I see in the past, Ocho, I would have clearly agreed. I never I'm trying to think before I say. I don't think I've had Domino's. The last time I tried one, I still remember this part. I was coming back from a wrestling show in Vermont, and the way I came back was through Lake George, New York. And when I came out, I don't remember the route number. I would turn left to head south on Lake George. Right at that corner, there was a Domino's, and I remember thinking, well, I got to give it another shot. I'll just try it and see. And it was still nasty, but that was, gosh, we used to do those shows up there. I'm trying to remember what year that would have been. That was probably at least 16 years ago. And I haven't tried it since. So as of last I had Domino's, I would disagree. I would have to put Pizza Hut over it. But prior, if you go back to the old school days, Domino was way, way above it. Chrome says, is it true Wendy's is starting to have a meat shortage because of the quarantine? As I said, I was just at Wendy's, and they did have signs on the board there that said their menu has been reduced due to food supply issues. So I would assume that's a yes, Chrome. That's got to be what they were talking about. I didn't pay close attention to which foods they had blocked off, but yeah, there was a sign right up there saying it. Chrome says, well, arguing whether Domino's is better than Pizza Hut is basically arguing who's best of the worst. Eat some real pizza like Paisano or make your own. Yeah. Not a big fan of either. I got to admit, though, in the old days, Domino's was still cardboard, but I liked that cardboard back then. John Rivera says, oh shit, I thought it was like sleep dreams, not aspiration. Shit, my dream makes me seem like a scrat-killing asshole. Well, I got the impression that you were taking dreams in the different context, John. It's okay. Member Barry says, what about the idea of floating around a couple of years ago about booking comedy clubs across the country? I love comedy night with Curtis and Spaz Kids, the cocktail waiter. It's funny, Barry's, before this whole thing hit, I had a whole bunch of material written, and I was going to start doing some open mics to see how it flew and everything, but who knows when we'll get back to any of that now. Yeah, I've still got all the material written and everything, and then this happened. Morgan says, funny story, I usually hate Arby's, but after our wedding cake tasting, hubby and I were so sick from sweetness we ran to Arby's for much needed sodium. That's understandable. Oh, my wife doesn't like it either, Morgan. Doesn't like Arby's, but Spaz and I love it. That shit roast beef they got there, oh, god damn. I'm getting so hungry. Between talking about Arby's and the pizza place in Italy and Epcot, I find that independent pizza places are always superior to the big chains. Mostly, I think, too, me as well, Stormstar. Occasionally, I've gone to an independent one because I'm always trying new pizza places, and it's like, ooh. But for the most part, yeah, I would agree with you. I just wish, again, as I was starting to allude to, I wish there was a way for a bunch of us to get together. That would be so much freaking fun. If we did it, I would love it for it to be able to be in Orlando. Now, one of the advantages, when we talked about this before about a potential meetup, about doing Orlando, is typically the airfares in are really reasonable because, obviously, that whole community is built on tourism and they do whatever they can to supplement the airlines and so on and so forth to keep fares low. Who knows? Maybe someday we'll be able to put some and at least get a number of us there anyway. I could live stream us having pizza at that place in Italy and stuff, and at least bring the gang in on it. Joe says, I definitely got meat shortage. Sponsored by Lude. Yeah, well, if we're going there, yeah, I'm with you guys. I got a meat shortage too. My supply lines were also cut. Oh, you guys are funny. Subway is badass. I like Subway, Madman. With me, it's, you guys know my limited taste, so I'm not as big a Subway fan as others because it's not their fault. It's my fault because there's so limited different sandwiches that I actually even eat. But I do like their sandwiches. Gimster says, talking about pizza reminds me that I'm still waiting on the large pineapple pizza you said you would send me with a large t-shirt. You sent me the last year at the $20 level. Listen, I don't remember saying that, Gimster, because I don't, I would not inflict a pineapple pizza on anyone. I still that's probably the biggest bone of contention my wife and I have is she thinks pineapple on pizza is a good idea. Stormstar says Orlando, I'm there. I would love to do that. I would love to do that. Sweet Beast says, are you talking about Prince Street Pizza in New York? No, I don't know that one, Sweet Beast. The place in New York I liked is Rose's. There's a few locations around New York City of Rose's Pizza. The one I always went to was down in uh-huh. Right below the Walmart they built in Midtown Manhattan. If you go down into the subway station from there, Penn Station, it's right down in that section down there. It used to be actually it used to be above ground, right across from the main entrance to that Kmart. There's a little alleyway like with park benches and stuff, and on the other side is a string of small businesses, and Rose's used to be in there, and then they moved underground into the Independence Station. Excuse me. Chrome says, by the way, Curtis, I'm about halfway through the lines for the new banner. Got Robin, Kukaku, and Saris. Next is Alwado and probably Toru. That's cool, Chrome. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Chrome is making us a new titty lineup for the banner. Oh, anime has brought so many happy booby thoughts to me. Joe says, ironically, despite shortage, I can't stop eating it. Hello. Yes, sir. Hold on. I was trying to read that from John. My body, my body is a fucking trash collector, but even it stays away from Arby's. 10 hairs in the food is too much. My max was 3. Again, I agree. A lot of the Arby's I've been to have been gross little places, and I'm not even sure again where that meat comes from, but don't care. Booby thoughts are the best thoughts, indeed, Big Green, without question, without doubt. Yarbrough says, I had that same can't match the first time problem with cinnamon roll French toast with apple compote, basically pie filling from Baker Square. Isn't that weird how that happens too? Again, that's such an annoying thing when you have something that you think is just spot on and then they can't do it again, right? I'll tell you guys, though, the best food I have around me is my son-in-law's cooking. This kid, he's 40 now, but still, he's a kid to me. Unbelievable cook. And he makes chicken breasts that are just insanely good. But the favorite thing, I told you, I'm a big nut for sausage. I have yet to eat anywhere, and this even includes that place in Italy. I have yet to eat anywhere where the sausage is prepared better and more tasty than the way my son-in-law makes it. He'll make, whenever he does sausage, he'll always send me over a couple little sausage sandwiches. Now that's boner time. Jesus Christ. Oh. Brian says, went down to Booker School in Houston. It's no joke. Oh, did you? Booker T is somebody I never got to meet or anything. But now him, the opposite, what I've been told by people who know him, everybody seems to like Booker. That's cool. You got to go to a school. That's real cool. I am not L says, we should speak more about food, but my bud said, let's watch anime boobies. Your bud's got a good point. He really does. Daniel says, Curtis, what's Spaz Kid's favorite cake? Because today's my mom's birthday and I broke her chair, which looks like the long dead Spaz chair. I don't know. Spaz Kid is not a big cake eater, Daniel. I'd have to ask him. He's very, very about cake. His big treat all the time growing up, he always loved chocolate chip cookies. But I mean, we have birthday parties and stuff. Sometimes he'll have a slice of cake with us. But unlike his fat ass father, he's not. That's not a big deal to him. You give me a good chocolate cake, like one of the double triple layer ones with a good vanilla cream frosting and some chocolate drizzled in the middle. And I'm drooling. I'm bonered up. Oh, this whole conversation went from our childhood dreams to fat boy heaven here. Oh, me too, Morgan. She says I love cake so much. Pie too. One of the only times I'm a real fruit eater is pie. Give me an apple pie. Give me a cherry pie. She's my cherry pie. Blackberry pie. Oh, pie is so good. We have a place just down the road from us. It's a little farmer's market type place. I mean, the stand is actually right on their farm, and all summer they bring they make and bring in pies on the weekend. And M says, "What's this about ice cream cake?" Oh, and now, I'm glad you said that, M. Actually, I can say that if Spaz Kid eats cake, it's ice cream cake. He likes the best. That's what he always asks for his birthday. Now again, he's not a huge cake fan, but if he eats any, it's typically that. I hadn't even thought about that till M just said it. Oh, you been there? John says, I've been to the Italian place in Epcot, and yeah, the pizza is bonerific. It's ridiculous. And they make it in these big, excuse me, in these big open fire ovens. Oh, fire! It's all made over fire, over flames. Oh my God, it's so good. And everything, well, as in all the places in Epcot, in all the individual countries, everything is genuine. Whatever is in there comes from whatever country that represents. So everything in there has been imported from Italy, and oh God, it's so damn good. Chrome says, any opinions on red velvet cake or cheesecake? I like red velvet cake. My wife likes it more than I do. I mean, I'll eat it. It's just not something I go out of my way for. And cheesecake, unfortunately for me, Chrome, is one of those foods that now, because I'm an old fuck, just screws in my gut so much that it's not even worth it to me. It's good. I mean, not being able to eat cheesecake isn't that big a thing to me because it was never on my favorites list, but I liked it. But now I don't even eat it anymore. Loki says a nice blackberry pie or apple pie with buttery crust and served with, I was just going to say, gotta go a la mode. With a scoop of vanilla ice cream on the side is heaven. Could not agree with you more, Loki. Yeah, that's pie a la mode. A good fruit pie, like you say, blackberry, apple for me, cherry as well, blueberry as well. Oh, man. With a, yep. God damn. You guys are actually hurting me today. Uh, come on, Arthur. This is ridiculous, Susan. Arthur says super chat won't let him type fat. I shouldn't let this kind of stupidity bother me as much as it does, because we all know YouTube. I won't go off onto that. High Rise says warm apple pie and licorice ice cream is heaven. I don't know that I've ever had licorice ice cream, High Rise. Licorice ice cream. I would try that because I like licorice. Chrome says, oh, that's sad because cheesecake is some of the best type of cakes. I remember having red velvet cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory in Florida, and it was delicious. Yeah, when we have a cheesecake factory not far from us, excuse me, and when we go down there, my wife will always have cheesecake for dessert, but I just have a regular cut of cake because I can't eat it anymore. Creme brulee, I've never had, Morgan. I've never had creme brulee. Yeah, I would try it, but again, just from what I know about it, it's one of those things that it might be creamy enough that it beats up my guts, but I don't care. I try it anyway. Rick says, "Fat man get bullied." Yeah. Cheesecake is best cake. Straga says. uh, Kabloi, Kwiatki. What are even cheesecake factories? It's a chain here. I think they're nationwide, aren't they? Cheesecake factories. Yeah, because I know they're on the West Coast. I know that I live on the East Coast, so I believe it's just a chain of restaurants, and obviously cheesecake is their specialty. But the food there is really good too. I mean, the meals are excellent. That's why we go. We really enjoy the meals there. Not as far as chains go, one of the more pricier chains. It's not a cheap place to eat, but it's good. Arthur, next post, cause Susan. Jesus Christ. Arthur says, you know you're fat when you can slap your leg and see a ripple. That's good. Cheesecake Factory is in Australia too. Is it, High Rise? That's cool. I didn't know that. And Nolan says, yeah, Cheesecake Factory is everywhere. That's all it is. It's a big chain. It's good food. I think. I like the food there. Love root beer float, Smoky Loki. Just made them not too long ago. Before the whole shutdown thing. we have some friends of ours that come over. They usually come over once a week, and we just hang out, watch some TV, play some games. When Brax is home, we all play games together and stuff. And one night, I'll always get something, cookies or cake or something for when we all hang out. And the one night we did, one of the last nights before the whole shutdown thing started, we did root beer floats. Brian says, "Is your channel full time? If not, what else do you do?" I put in excess of what would normally be full time hours into between the channel, the Goosh, and now of course the Cave, the new Patreon with where I have my podcast. But I retired from my day job back in 2017. I worked for a local municipality for 25 years, and I retired there. I know who Trisha Paytas is, Damon Nugent, but I can't take much of her. She's annoying as fuck to me. She really is. And usually, if your titties are that big, I can get past it. She's too annoying. I can't get past it. Patrick says, "Curtis, I know it's away from cake and sweets land, but on the other side of the border has the PM banning tons of firearms. What's your view on this?" Yeah, I see that. It's not surprising from Trudeau. We all know where Trudeau stands on some issues. My stance on him doing it is really, it's not my business because it's not my country. If it happened here, I would have a major issue with it, yeah. But then again, too, it's not part of the Constitution in Canada as it is here. And yeah, I would have a major problem with it. I don't think there's ever a good idea, and I think world events have proven this over and over and over. I don't think it's ever a good idea to have an unarmed populace. That's my opinion. Gimster says, "I guess it's because of my upbringing of being an old school hard worker, but I'm not much of a dessert eater. When you need to work, you eat meat." I get that, Gimster. Yeah, I can see that. I know when I'm busier. Well, I shouldn't say busier. If I'm physically busier, I stay in better shape because I eat less. But now with doing, with most of everything that I do, sitting on my fat ass in front of the computer, that makes it too easy to walk downstairs and grab some cookies or grab a snack or grab this and have it sitting here next to me. Now, if I'm doing stuff around the house, like we got a couple projects going now, that helps me because as soon as we get done here, I'm going to be in our bedroom getting the walls prepped for painting and everything because it's the wallpaper on our walls has been there for decades. So we're going to repaint and try and just get everything looking good. And that will help me because same as you, once you're working, once you're busy, it's easy to forget about snacking. Trisha is Mark Bark, Joe says. Hey, Blackhawk. Always watching anime. Yes, sir. I really am an anarchist. You still haven't told me why, Brian. Maybe I'm blanking out. I don't remember what type of anarchist views I had purported here. The Second Amendment and being in favor of citizens being armed. That's not for anarchy. That's for defense. To think that there could never be the case where we may have to defend ourselves against a tyrannical government, I don't think it's going to happen. And I certainly would hope not. But I think when you have an armed populace, it makes it much, much less likely to happen. And then you have to think of it further too. We don't know what's going to happen, especially with the world the way it is now. And what if there was a World War III that breaks out? Maybe I think in that case, whatever their survivors are, it would be good to know that you were armed. But as far as am I looking for anarchy? Is that why I think we should have guns? No. I think we should have guns so government is aware that they cannot become more than they're supposed to be. Well, now there you go, Arthur. Wow, you really are an antichrist. That one I can't make a cogent argument against. Nolan Dyer says, if anarchy is what it will take to prevent a modern day Holocaust, then oh well. Yeah, that's where I am. I mean, I'm not one of these I don't know, one of the militia types that's, thinks the government is always evil and just chomping at the bit to come out of the hills and start fighting them at all. It's just, I think it's a good idea for a government to be aware that its citizenry is not without the ability to defend itself. Gibster says, the anarchy he's talking about is the fact that you don't like pineapple pizza. If that's the case, then yes, I'm an anarchist, because I ain't eating that shit. Loki says the public needs to be more aware of the government's inch-by-inch tactics when it comes to imposing more government control. It's similar to the frog in the boiling water analogy. I completely agree. Again, and this goes both sides of the aisle. I'm not pointing at either side. If we don't believe that there are some in our government who would like to have substantially more powers than they are given now, that would be very simplistic. There are. And I do think it's a good idea for them to be able to be reminded that they are a government of the people, by the people, for the people. That they will not dictate to us, we will dictate to them if push comes to shove. Michael says, the late 90s, early 2000s was the golden age of TV, in my opinion. I'm just thinking back, Michael. Yeah, you can make a case for that, absolutely. Sure, because you'd be, into the 90s, mid-90s. Let's see, you had Seinfeld as far as the comedies, and Friends. Friends was something I never got into at the time, and now watching it in syndication and reruns, that was a really funny series. Yeah, you can make some cases for other decades as well, but yeah, I wouldn't argue that. I'll tell you, 90s and early 2000s was fantastic for cartoons, and I've been a cartoon freak since I was a little kid. Always have been, still am. So yeah, if you add cartoons into the mix, I completely agree with you, Michael. There were some great cartoon series then. By the way, notice how it's let's Antichrist, but not... Good point. That's a good point, Arthur. Yeah, Antichrist went right through the... No problem at all there. No censorship on that one. In a weird way, you can consider Edward to be the full metal anarchist. That's good, Nolan. I like that. Nancy Pelosi pie sounds interesting. Oh, shoot, it's gone. He took it away. I wanted to see what a Nancy Pelosi pie was. When's Curtis going to start wearing people's bones as armor? I hadn't thought about that as a possibility, Lex, but now that you mention it, I kind of like it. Hell, 90s is when the Batman animated series came out. I've got to watch that at some point. So many people tell me how great that series was. And again, by then I had kind of wandered away from the superhero genre and everything, and I never really watched it. Ooh, yes, Yarbrough, yes. Apple pie with caramel and a nutty granola. Yep, I'm with you. That, good granola, crushed granola topping. Yeah. Yep, I'm there. It's an amazing series. Yeah, Jack, everybody says that. Big Green saying the same thing. That's something, boy, I if I did have more time, that would be up there on the list of things to watch. Because that one, everybody across the board always tells me how good that was. What's the best Leslie says, what is the best fast food restaurant with the best fries? They depend more on what I'm in the mood for. I mean, McDonald's fries, of course, are legendary. I used to like the curly fries at Arby's a lot, but they've dropped down as I've gotten older. I still love the roast beef, but the fries, I don't know. It depends. For me, I can't give you one because it depends on my mood. Any of them you get tired of if you have too much. So it all kind of depends on the mood for me. Mark Hamill equals best Joker, Yarbrough says. But that's a character that Joker, and I've told you guys that I was a comic book fanatic when I was a kid, and all superhero comics. If there was one character that I was told someday would grow to be a true, real icon, I would have never guessed Joker. I can ask him. Arthur wants to know, Brax, do you watch VTubers? Or VTubers? VTubers? V, Victor.
VTubers.
Yeah, I don't know if there's supposed to be two B's there, if it was a typo. VTUBBERS? He doesn't know what it is. He's looking it up. What is it? A series on YouTube?
What the fuck is this?
He just said, "What the fuck is this?" So I'm gonna say, prior to this, Arthur, no, I don't think he had seen it.
What is this? It's horrific.
It's horrific. He's saying. Oh, VTuber means virtual YouTuber. Aren't all YouTubers? Aren't we all virtual?
Okay, because if he meant like the actual channel,
Okay.
dear God, because this is like children's stuff and it's kind of scary.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he means like virtual YouTubers.
Weebtubers, Lick says.
And like the sense of like virtual reality YouTubers.
I don't know.
Like,
He probably means that channel, I would imagine.
if he means this channel, no.
Oh no, Loot says it stands for virtual YouTubers.
I mean, I watch a virtual reality channel called VR Lolathon, but that's pretty much it.
No, I don't know anything about it. Either one. Do I still watch wrestling? Marsh, on occasion. I'm not, it's not something I set my sights for and make sure I go see, but I check it. I saw a little bit of Raw this week and stuff. I watch it here and there. Heath Ledger equals best Joker. He was brilliant. He really was. That kid could act. I liked Heath Ledger. I even liked him in that dopey romantic comedy there that was Shakespearean inspired. 10 Things I Hate About You. I even liked him in that. Curtis confirmed Curtis is actually green screen. You don't think Heath Ledger is the best? See, I could never really get into a hearty argument about that because there's been so many great Jokers. I thought Jack Nicholson did a fantastic Joker. So it's, I there's several different actors who have played that role who I could completely see somebody designating them as the best. Joaquin Phoenix was great. Marsh says best Joker was Joaquin Phoenix, hands down. The only movie to make me cry like a baby. That was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I liked that one a lot. Favorite baseball movie? Field of Dreams, Loki. As much as I love The Natural, it's Field of Dreams by just a little bit. But I love both those movies. Baseball, I've told you guys before, typically my interests are way more modern. Even when it comes to things like movies, stuff of that nature, I'm not one of these, oh yeah, we did it better in the old days, or TV shows. Now, there's some older movies I like and stand the test of time. There's some old TV shows I like stand the test of time. But for the most part, I lean towards the more modern. Same with sports. I prefer, if it's a sports movie about football, I want it to be modern day football. If it's about boxing, I prefer it to be about modern day boxing. But baseball is the exception. For some reason, I think it's because it was my first love. I watch movies like, not necessarily Field of Dreams, but The Natural, about the old school days of baseball, and it captures my emotion. Brian says, I cashed my stimulus today. Teller gave me the look. Nice, Brian. I saw that, Steve. He says Mike Tyson may be coming back for charity boxing events. Let me tell you something. That little bit of workout they posted, as somebody who still shadow boxes whenever I get the chance to work the bag, because I just love that, always have. That's impressive. I don't give a fuck that he's 53. It's impressive if you're 23. He's still got some speed and power in those hands. And I know people online, of course, because people online need to drag everything down. Oh, that doesn't mean anything. It's one combination that he threw and nobody's fighting back. And blah, blah, blah. We understand all that. The fact still remains, if you have that kind of hand speed and that kind of punching power in that compact frame, that's still fucking scary. I don't give a damn how old he is. My favorite Dragon Ball movie? I haven't even caught up with all of them, Thomas. I've seen so few that it wouldn't even be, it wouldn't be a big debate of any nature at all. I'd have to think back. I haven't caught up with all of them at all. Chrome says he means virtual YouTubers. It's people who use 3D model avatars instead of themselves in streams and videos. Oh, that's cool. They use synthetic Vocaloid style voices and Ethots and Cam girls hate them. Really? Okay, all right. Chrome explained it. Huh. No, I know nothing about it. Lude says, real talk, the only reason Ledger is considered as great as he was due to his health. You think so? Cemented his legacy because who dares to critique a dead man? He'd have almost almost much controversy as Leto if he lived. I don't agree with that, Lude. Only because, again, you guys know that. I don't have to tell you that. I'm not a believer in that. In that if someone dies, that you have to only point out the positives. Now, I'm not saying you have to be a dick. You can just say nothing. But given that, I thought Heath Ledger was an excellent actor before that. Again, I told you, going back to that 10 Things I Hate About You, that's not even typically my genre per se, but I really enjoyed it. And a lot of the reason was I liked him in that role. And that, who was in it with him? Julia Stiles, I think it was. They were just really, really good in that. Yeah, see, that one I wouldn't agree with. Just for personal opinion, I liked him. I thought he was an excellent actor. And it has nothing to do with him dying. Steve says, 100% agree. I'm big into boxing, especially watching heavyweights, and I genuinely think if he ever came back as a pro, I don't think he will. Yeah, I don't think so either. He'd be in the top 20 in the world still. Oh, yeah, I think so, Steve. In the current state of affairs in heavyweight boxing, yeah, I agree with you. I think he's a top 20 fighter. And you have to remember, some things don't change. We saw he's still got really decent hand speed. His power doesn't go away as quick as speed does anyway, so he's still got that punching power, and he's knowledgeable. You know, he's been through a lot. He knows when Mike Tyson's being properly trained, as he was early in his career, he's got phenomenal head movement. He's a very difficult target to hit. Yeah, I think he could absolutely make an impact if he wanted to. Excuse me. Let's see. Gans and Sloppy. Heath's performances had a lot to do with the script. Yeah, Gans, but I mean, no more than any other actor or actress performance has to do with the script. I mean, I don't know why we would think Heath Ledger's was more the power of the writing than anybody else. Let's see. Oh, Johnny says, fuck you, A League of Their Own is best baseball movie. I love that movie. That was actually the first date my wife and I ever had. We went to see that. And we've been up to the Hall of Fame to see their display that they had up there and everything. And the matter of fact, the last time we went to Cooperstown, last summer, 2019, I bought my wife a Georgia Peaches t-shirt from there. Yeah. Yep. We love that movie. Tyson Fury says Mike Tyson could knock him out in round 1. I saw him talking about that, Ansel. Mike Tyson's a scary dude. And again, you know, I know it was just one quick workout, but goddamn, that fucker still moves really, really fast. Jamie says, I'm sorry I'm late, Uncle Curtis. This is an answer to the chat subject line. My dream is probably dead at this point with his work at Disney Studios. Nah, I don't think it's dead, Jamie. Yeah, again, dreams like that you got to hold on to, and Disney Studios themselves will make a comeback from all this. Yeah, you got to hold on to those. You never know. Vasily Lomachenko is the best current boxer, in my opinion. What I've seen of him, I've been impressed. Lomachenko, Glenn, yeah, he's fun to watch. Is Mike Tyson gay? I don't think so, Joe. I know he was married to Robin Givens for a while there, and of course, he did his jail time because apparently he was forceful in a sexual encounter with a Miss America contestant or something. So I know he likes girls. I never heard anything about him being bi or anything. Babe Ruth, best baseball player in the world. Nicholas, I think he was one of the great sluggers. Hard to call him the best baseball player in the world because there are so many guys that were more well-rounded. Now, Babe Ruth could pitch as well, which is pretty impressive. But when you have guys through the years, like even current standards, a guy like Mike Trout today, or an outfielder like Roberto Clemente who could do everything. I mean, he could hit for a big average, hit for power, had a cannon for an arm, covered so much ground in the outfield, was a phenomenal fielder, won the Gold Glove pretty much every year, and when he was young was literally just a tick off of being a world-class sprinter. So I don't think you say best baseball player, but one of the great icons and one of the, if not the greatest slugger in the history of baseball, certainly. VTubers are like e-girls for weebs with real content. See, I didn't even know. Well, obviously, I didn't even know that phrase. Vasily is untouchable. He's made like 4 opponents quit mid-fight. Yeah, I love a good boxing match. Any weight division, anything at all. A good fight, a good baseball game, a good football game. Don't care the league, don't care what. I'll sit down and watch it. All right, guys. Well, I gotta head out now because again, I got a little more editing to do, and I am gonna get started on that bedroom today. That'll be a whole week thing at least, working on getting that bedroom caught up. But thank you for this stream again. As always, this was a lot of fun. It was fun hearing what everybody's individual dreams were and everything. That was I will say this. I'm not typically your rah-rah type, but that's like a big deal to me. I think that you should always pursue dreams, because the way I look at that is, if you pursue a dream at any point in your life and it doesn't come to fruition, you didn't fail. You just got to enjoy some anticipation. You got to go on a journey. It's way more about journey than destination. So that's why dreams always fascinate me. You should always stick to them, always go after them, because not achieving them isn't a failure in any way, shape, or form, because it's all about that journey. All right. Well, today's sticky stuff is going to be dream oriented. This is the stuff, in other words, it's drugs. Today's sticky stuff is going to put you in a dream state. You'll come out of it eventually. Probably, likely, you probably will. So here it is, Pamfu, dream sticky stuff for everybody. Sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you. Yeah, start hallucinating, sticky stuff for you, because we'll bang, okay? Flashily like buggy. And as always, most importantly, in your reality and in your dreams, goose, 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 goose. Goose.